there are two things that are lost in our recent fascination with our phones, our heads in our phones. And one is that people are becoming less capable of being bored. We're losing the capacity for boredom, and the capacity to be bored is an incredibly important developmental moment, and it's so important because boredom, when you're feeling bored, your brain is not bored at all. Your brain is laying down what's called the default mode network, which is the pathways for the development of a stable sense of an autobiographical self. So you need those moments when you feel bored for your brain really to develop your stable sense of self. And right now, when people feel bored, they have like no tolerance and they go immediately to their phones. So the first thing is I try to argue, remind people of the importance of those moments of boredom and say, walk towards boredom. Make sure your child doesn't have a phone in front of them, because there are potty trainers with slots for an iPhone and slots for an iPad. No, baby bouncers where you can put an iPad and iPhone. No, mm-hmm. Let your child be bored. Let them develop that capacity. So boredom is very important, and with boredom comes the capacity for solitude. Now, why is solitude? These go together very often, because very often in solitude we need to have that moment of boredom. Now, why is solitude so important? Because the capacity for solitude means you're alone with yourself, you can tolerate your own company, you know your own company, which means that when you go to somebody else, because you're okay with yourself, you can then recognize them for who they are. You're not trying to use who they are to buttress your fragile sense of yourself. You're okay with yourself, so you can recognize another person. So it's actually very important to know who you are and be okay with who you are in order to recognize someone else for who they are. The two really go together.